Hello, this is Jonas from VHDLwhiz.com. Today I'm going to show you my new VHDL plugin for Microsoft Visual Studio Code. It is named VHDL-by-vhdlwhiz, and this is my GitHub page, but you can also find it in the Visual Studio Code Marketplace under the same name. It's a new plugin, but it's based on an older plugin which is named Awesome VHDL, and I've been using this plugin for a long time. This is the GitHub page for the old plugin, but as you can see, it hasn't been updated for quite a few years. And I think that's a pity because I liked this plugin, but there were some things that I would like to change with it too. So therefore, I have taken the matters into my own hands and created a new plugin, which is called VHDL by VHDLwhiz. And you can see all of the snippets which you can use in this VHDL plugin on the GitHub page, but you can also see it in Visual Studio Code. So I'm in Visual Studio Code now and I haven't installed the plugin yet. So I'm going to go to extensions and type in VHDLwhiz to search up my plugin. And there it is, VHDL by VHDLwhiz. Just select it and press install just like that. And we can also see this same information here, the usage information, because this plugin has a lot of snippets, which I'm going to show you in a few moments. It has snippets for ModelSim run.do files, but most of them are for VHDL. And I'm continuously going to add more snippets and keep updating this plugin because I'm using it myself too. Okay, so now the plugin has been installed and I'm going to go to a new VHDL file. I have an empty VHDL file here and I'm going to type VHDL. And this will bring up two snippets which I can use. And one is the VHDL, it's the VHDL template. I'm just going to press enter and it allows me to easily create a new module. Let's just name it, for example, my module, like this. And the architecture is okay. And each time I press tab now, it jumps to a new placeholder. And I can erase these, for example, if I don't want the clock and reset, but I'm just going to tab my way further. And now it's time to start declaring signals, but this is just a quick demo, so I'm just going to erase it so that we just have the clock and reset. And just save this file so it's syntactically correct. Then I'm going to go to the test bench here, and this file is empty too, but I'm going to type VHDL. And instead of VHDL, I'm typing VHDL-TB for test bench, and this will give me the test bench template. And when I now press enter, we can see that we have the template for a complete test bench for the device in the test. It also has the clock generation, the instantiation template, and the sequencer process with assert statements and everything. So at first we can give the module a name, or give the name of the module that we're going to test, and that is my module, because that was the name I gave to the previous module. And when I press tab now, it allows me to change the clock frequency, and then it jumps to the instantiation, but I'm just going to erase because we only have two signals, the clock and reset, because this is just a quick demo. So now we could go into ModelSim, and I've already set up the ModelSim project with importing the files, but I haven't done anything else other than that. So we're just going to compile now. We can see it works because of course the templates have no errors. So we can start simulate now by using the menus here, but I find that a bit cumbersome, so instead I always create a new run.do script. So this is my file explorer in the demo project. I'm going to type Ctrl+N to create a new file in VS Code. I'm going to save this file as run.do. You see that? That's a do script for ModelSim. And that allows us to create a tickle file or TCL file. And this script, this plugin has a snippet for that, and the snippet is ModelSim run.do. If I type this or hit enter now when this is highlighted, we get the outline for a complete new run.do script, which is going to make it much easier for us to get started with test benches, because the only thing we have to do now is to supply the name of the test bench, and that's my underscore module underscore TB. The name of the test bench. We just recently created this test bench, And when I press tab, it jumps to the testbench library, which is work, and I haven't changed it, so I'm going to leave it there. And the runtime, how long should this testbench run? And explanation for all of these are given in the comments in this script. So if we leave it to run all, it's going to run until the finish keyword. So I'm just going to save now. And you can change all of the things in this file, but I'm going to leave it as is, because we can run this script in two ways. By using just calling the script like this, do run.do, or calling it with a argument, wave or no wave, for displaying the waveform or not. So the default is to not display the waveform. It's set down here in this variable. So I'm going to go to ModelSim now and type do, typing down here in the console, run.do, so that's the name of the script that we just created, and just running it like this. Now it's going to run without the waveform, and there's no waveform. We can see it stopped here on an assert statement. Replace this with your test cases, and that's because this is just a snippet and you're supposed to edit this test bench. We'll look at that later, but let's just try to run again. I'll press arrow up and add an argument, wave, run.do wave. So I'm typing do run.do wave, and now it will give me the waveform. There it is, the waveform, just like that. So that's how you can control if you want to see the waveform, but mostly you don't want to see the waveform. So I'm just running it again without the waveform, because you want to have self-checking test benches, and that's what this plugin is going to help you do. So back to the test bench. This is what we saw. It said it stopped at this assert statement, replace this with your test cases, and we can easily do that with this this plugin, because I have snippets for asserts, and they start with AS, for example, simple assert, or ASF, which is my favorite, assert failure, like that. For example, we could say if clock equals 1 or whatever, then the clock should be 0. Okay, that makes no sense, but you see the point. You can do that. You can also easily add report statements by using the REP snippet. I type REP and enter, and this is a message. You can change it. This is another message. See that? It's easy to change. And also, if we go to the model, not the test bench, we can create, for example, new signals or constants. Let's create some constants. Oh, not there, but in between the architecture and the begin keyword. Type C to create a new constant, and then, for example, name it my constant. And when I press tab now, it jumps to the next placeholder. It's an integer. Yeah, why not we leave it to an integer? And when I press tab, it jumps to the value of the integer. So that's how you easily can create constant without typing too much. If I want to create a signal, I type S, and then just hit tab. Name of the signal, my signal, for example. Type, well, let's be creative. For example, I could make a standard logic vector. Then I type SLV. And then I have several choices, just a normal vector without anything, or down to vector. SLVD, SLVR for ranged vector, SLVT for to vector, but I'm going to go with the SLVD, like this. And then we can change this to, for example, 15 down to 0, just like that. And all of these snippets that I'm using, they are listed over here on the plugin information page. So when I add new snippets, I'm going to update this README, so you can always find the information here. And we can also do the same, for example, use the S snippet again, create an integer, my int, for example. And then I use the int keyword. I can use int to or down to, but I want to create an int with a to range. Int t, use tab, and then I can specify from 0 to 63 or whatever, just like that. We can also create types, for example, type an array type, like that. All the types, they start with typ, so we see the array type which I used, but there's also an FSM type and a record. Let's try the FSM type. So I'm going to type typ FSM, hit enter, and it gives me a state name and a state type and a state signal, because that's typically what you want when you create a state machine. For example, I can name it my state. When I tab, it jumps to the state declarations or enumerated declarations. Let's leave it to idle and just create another state number 1, like that, state number 1. And if we wanted to use this, we could easily create a new process by using the PRO snippet. So PRO, just simple PRO, creates the normal process, test process like that, with something in here, counter or whatever in the sensitivity list. But now I want to create an FSM, so I'm going to use the other PRO snippet. So all the process snippets, they start with PRO. And if I choose this one, PRO FSM, we get the outline for a state machine. And I already created a state signal here, so we can see the state is highlighted. So I can type my underscore state, which is the name of the signal that I created. When I use tab now, you can see it's going to skip to the next semi-highlighted area, which is the initial state, which is idle. I can change this to whatever, but we will leave it as idle. When I press tab now, it jumps to the next space where you probably want to start when you create a state machine. But I'm just going to create the next when statement, and we can do that by typing W. It says here when, and state number 1, and so on. That's how you can do it. And also, if I wanted to have something else in here, if I wanted to have, for example, an if statement, I would just type I and hit enter. And we can see the condition, for example, counter equals 1 or whatever. And I could choose to use the else statement. If I press tab now, it will jump to the next position here, so we can start filling in, but I want to erase it, so I'm just going to press backspace. But I want to have an else if, for example, so I can use the snippet ELI for else if. Yeah, ELI. If counter equals 2 or whatever. And finally, now I want to have my else back, so I'm going to type EL for else. Just like that, you can create constructs like if statements really quickly. And for example, if I wanted to increment this counter, I have a snippet for that, because incrementing and decrementing is something you do a lot. And the snippet for incrementing a signal is INCR for increment. I can change the name to something else, but right now it was counter, which is the same as what I have here. And if I want to decrement it, I can type counter, or sorry, I can type decrement, like that. I type DECR for decrement, and we can see the highlighted snippet. Press tab now, jumps to the counter signal name, which I can change to something else. So that's how you can create up and down counters quickly. You can also do the same for case statements by using CA for case. And then again, all of these things are listed in the extensions here. You can see case, you can find it here. It's listed in the table of snippets. I will update this as we go. Okay, so if I create a case statement, we get a case statement. And if I want to, for example, have a for loop, you can type FO for for, enter. We can change the enumerator to item and looping from 0 to 99, for example. Or if I want to have, for example, a while loop, we can do WH for while, like that, just like that. While counter is less than 100 or whatever. So you see, it's easy to create things with my new snippet library. And there are more snippets on the extension page here. I'm going to update this README as I update the plugin. So just go ahead and check the version number, and whenever there's an update, you can go refer to the README on the plugin page. And I hope you can give me some feedback if there's something you're missing from this plugin, or if you spot an error, just send me an email and I will try to address it. Okay, that's all I had for right now. Thank you for watching, and until the next time, keep coding.